What's up, everybody? Today I'm doing a track breakdown of my new track Miami, which is out now on all platforms. I mixed and recorded this track up here in the dojo, recorded it right here at the booth, and then I mixed it here at the table with my stereo speakers and my headphones. It's out now on all platforms. You can check it out on Spotify, the YouTube visualizer, and on Apple Music. This is something that I want to do with a lot more of my tracks that I mix myself and record myself, because I actually have the files and I was hands-on in the entire creation of it, so I can go and show you the behind the scenes. I feel like that's something I always want to see about the artists that I enjoy listening to and admire. So I'm going to do a behind the scenes of how this track was actually made, and I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. I might break it up into 3 separate videos, but this is something that I want to keep doing with a lot of the tracks that I mix and record up in the dojo itself, just to give people a little bit of behind the scenes, and also to give y'all some more detail on how the track was actually made if you're interested in it. I find it very interesting. I put a lot of work into this track, into the other tracks that I've mixed. So I kind of want to share, the love I have for it and the intentionality that I went throughout it. And you can kind of just get a behind the scenes look of what's actually happening and how it got to the final sound, or at least close to the final sound. If you see me looking up and down and around, it's because I have another monitor up monitoring my recording, and then the tracks down here that I'll be looking at itself. So yeah, let's just hop right into it, I guess. This track, a little bit of story behind it. I made it and started writing it on a plane down to Miami while I was on a flight. I've written a lot of music on planes and in the car and whatnot. Like Some New Vibes was written a lot on a plane. 15 minutes to Chicago, 15 minutes to Chicago. I was on the plane about to arrive. And this track was also made in a similar way, kind of with the inspiration of travel behind it. And turns out we actually didn't go to Miami. I thought we were going to Miami. We actually went to Fort Lauderdale. Everything I heard was Miami though, so that's where the inspiration of the track actually came up. And at the time of recording, I'm actually going this weekend to film the music video to Miami. We're taking a little flight down there just to record it and have some fun. So that was sort of the inspiration behind the track. Just touched down in Miami, landed, ain't planning a damn thing. I was going there for a bachelor party. I'll give you all the behind the scenes details of the actual track. I was going there for a bachelor party, and I didn't plan anything on the trip at all, right? So just touched down in Miami, landed, ain't planning a damn thing, and then I keep progressing throughout the track. I'm not sure how much lyric breakdown I'm going to do. I'll mention a couple things here and there, but yeah, this is a fun track, man. This is a really special track to me. I feel like it's really full and not over the top full. It's not distractive. There's something I've noticed with the artists that I admire, that they often they're very restrictive in what they use, and whatever they use, it's very pure, like the sounds or whatnot. They're not having ad-libs all over. I mean, unless there's a section that they do that, or the track is made for that, right? I was going for more of a final art piece with this track, where everything's kind of in its place. It's not overused, it's not underused. If you hear something unique and only comes up once, you have to re-listen to the whole track or skip back to even listen to that part again. It only comes up at certain parts. A lot of things that I've been studying and learning from other artists, I've tried to apply in this track itself naturally, and I felt like it came out like this. It came out correctly in that way, very full, very maxed out, but not over the top. So yeah, you're looking at my screen now. This is my breakdown of the track. It's colored orange, just like the shirt and the entire theme of the merch, and just the feel, the cover of the album and whatnot. So I like color coding my tracks based off of that. And yeah, here's the beat right here. I'll hop into it. If you haven't listened to the track, this would be a good time to pause it and go listen to it. You can check it out on this YouTube page itself. I also have the visualizer up that I animated and made, or you can go listen to the track on Spotify, Apple Music, or whatnot, and some of the other providers. So listen to it first before you hear the breakdown, because I'm just going to hop straight into it without listening to the whole track first. I'm going to assume you listen to it. So yeah, let's start off with the intro. Let me branch this out some. This is what the file looks like. I have a lot of the layers kind of compacted in folders right now. I'll get into them later. So here is the entire intro right here. All this that is highlighted. Um, it's a lot of pieces. A lot of it was done in one take, the intro part. And this is a track. I started writing this, I believe, in March or something like that, April. And I wrote it, and then I came back and recorded a like rough draft of it, which I ended up using the same chorus. And then about 2 weeks or a week before the actual release of the track, about 2 weeks before the release, I finished the song off, right, and added a bunch of touches, like the hums. The hums were a last minute touch that I wanted to add in during the second chorus and during the outro, and yeah, a couple other things, just touch ups. You know, the second half of the verse I added in because that wasn't done, um, and a lot of cleanup things. The reverbs, the high up fly on section I cleaned up. So I started it right after that trip and then took a long break from it and then came back and dove into it because I really loved the energy of the track, so I knew I should finish it. Um, so yeah, the intro, a lot of it was done one take. I'll break down some of it. So let's see. I'm gonna toss my headphones. I should be able to hear this. Hopefully the levels are all balanced. This is my first time doing this, so I hope it comes out all right. Let's see. Palm Tree City. Sun shining. The water's glowing. It's cold, don't get that wrong. It's cold. So that's the intro. I'll start breaking it down. Let's start right here. I'll solo this track.
Hey, bro. What you wanna get rocking? Let's get to it. We out here for real.
So I did that. That was early on in the track, probably before I even recorded the chorus. I did that. I just stood outside the mic and just recorded it. That's where you kind of get that ambiance, like the little reverb of the track and the far away kind of crowd sound. Here is the the mixing board for it, right? I have a lot of tracks in here, so it's a little headachy to look at. But I keep my stuff really simple. Right now, it's all just stock plugins, so stuff that came with Logic. I haven't downloaded anything and used it. I have just a very simple reverb. If if you're looking for any of that stuff, here's the reverb. It's just the amp room reverb, 55 second decay on it, 60% size, 32% density, and then 100% wet. And I used it. I bust it out, so it's a bus. And then that's a fake channel EQ. I don't know why that's there. Maybe I was trying to mess around with it and didn't do anything. And then I have a slight delay that I usually toss on my vocals. I've been doing it recently using Delay Designer. It's just a 2-bounce delay. So what you hear is, like if I'm talking, I say, hey, 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 right? I have it pan side to side. And so that whenever you hear, it fills in the outside space, right? My vocal's sitting in the middle. The drums are also sitting in the middle. So then I have the outside delay just slightly, just to fill in that extra frequency space on the outside. Is something I've been liking doing. Some tracks I haven't done that on, but that's usually what I stick with, is that reverb and that delay on it. And then just a pretty simple channel EQ. Nothing basic. I just keep it as is. And kind of let the creativity do the talking with it. And if you look right here, this means it's panned all the way right. Pan right, pan middle right, pan middle. And then same left middle, all the way left. So then you can see like how I'm layering things. All right, so that's some of the intro. Let's see this little. That actually have a longer delay on bus 5, and so that has this chroma decay on it, 2.7 seconds, and so that's just another normal. And without that reverb. So the sound already sounded cool, and then the reverb just adds that little floating space in between it. Palm Tree City. That's just out here with the sun. Fucking Palm Tree City. I put this as a clean song. You can't hear that in the frequencies. And I didn't even realize that till I was like really stepping back after I made the track and analyzing what I did. Fucking Palm Tree City. You hear that?
Out here with the sun shining, horses racing.
I'd recommend listening to this in headphones if you have headphones, earbuds, AirPods, something like that, not just off the phone. If you can, if not, it's cool. But that way you'll hear the stereo because I intentionally place where things are, left and right sides, to make different sounds. So yeah.
And the water's glowing.
Water was glowing.
But it's cold, don't get that wrong. It's cold.
It was cold.
Out here with the sun shining, horses racing.
We saw horses racing. That's why the horses racing.
And the water's glowing.
The water was glowing.
But it's cold, don't get that wrong. It's cold.
It was cold out there too.
But still.
It was cold out there. Whenever we were out, I guess it was in March. And yeah, so.
Yeah. Palm Tree City.
Palm Tree City.
Sun shining, horses racing. The water's glowing. But it's cold, don't get that wrong. It's cold.
Palm Tree is always something I think about whenever I'm in Miami. That was also just a one take, kind of in the moment freestyle vocal, I guess. We out here, Palm Tree City. And so I kind of added on to that.
We out Miami.
And the way that this is all set up, it was kind of natural, and then I shifted it just a little bit, but it fits in really well with the way that things hit. So.
Sun shining, the water's glowing.
Like it's like 3 peaks that you're getting. It builds up and then 3 peaks. It's a very nice intro. And that's also why I added in like the palm trees on the design, which I did in Illustrator myself. I also do like a file breakdown of the design, the folder that I have behind Miami, because it's pretty cool too, all the designs and all. But so yeah, I kind of added on to the palm tree thing, and then that's where you get that Palm Tree City later in the track, which we'll get into when we get into. So this wow is one of the best sounds in here. And you hear that double delay again, and it's very simple actually. It's just 3 vocals. So what I'll do is I'll play it. Here's the middle vocal. Here's the left vocal. A little more raspy, drawn out, decayed, and then here's the right vocal. A higher pitch. There's no tuning on this entire track actually at all. I use tuning as an instrument more of, or in certain tracks it fits in at certain places, but not on this. So it's just an increased delay on this, right? Bus 4 and bus 5. So bus 4, I have the delay designer, and I have it bouncing 4 times. Wow, 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 wow. Right, because I wanted it a little longer. And then I had, what bus was that? Bus 5. So that we already looked over. That's the chroma with the long decay on it. So it has a longer decay than regular vocals and a longer delay as well, and just more reverb. That's why you get that floating sound. So like if you were to hear this one without anything on it, this is what it would sound like.
Wow.
Right, and then so same thing with this one. Oops, sorry. And then with the vocals, it's just, in my opinion, a perfect pair of all the edits together. It sounds great the way they mix in the punchiness of the middle one, the high pitch of the right one, the dragged out of the left one. It's just all these different textures that I'm adding in that just sound great. Great sound right there. Probably, it's one of my favorites in the whole track. Now I got the AC kicking on. Hope y'all don't hear that too. All right, so now let's get into this part. So high up, fly on, city lights on. I'm all right, y'all. I'm all good. Which is a cool. High up, fly on, city lights on. I'm all right, y'all. I'm all good. I was high up in the plane, flying, right? High up, fly on, city lights on, looking down below. I'm all right, y'all. I'm all good. It's kind of has that resounding theme, reoccurring theme throughout the track of, back then they didn't understand me, still don't understand me. Kind of talking about the music, me as a person, what I'm trying to do with the craft. It's kind of personal in some ways, I guess, but it comes out really smooth in the track, and you often hear that in a lot of tracks. Some inner theme kind of hidden by the sound. So that's the theme that goes throughout it. I'm all right, y'all. I'm all good. Like, I'm just gonna live my life, do what I'm doing. It's cool if they don't understand me. I'm still gonna make my tracks and experience what I'm gonna experience and release what I'm gonna release. It goes more in that, but that's cool for the video. So this was actually made before that later part, higher, fly on, the elevated, fully evolved sound of this, right? This is like the intro sound. So that's something else that I messed with on a bunch of my other tracks, all the unreleased ones, is like having these second choruses or bridges or whatever you want to call it that are fully evolved at some part of the track, and then sprinkling it in the intro, like a very quiet form of it. A lot of times maybe a radio effect on it, or just this is a re-recording. This isn't a copy and paste from the later part. It's just a very basic, simple vocal. I did this before I did that part, right? It's a lot softer at the beginning. Higher, fly on, city, and different reverbs on it. Different levels of reverb, at least, compared to the last one. And the last one has the reverse reverb digging into it and building up to it, and this one is just straight up mixed inside the intro. And whenever you're listening to this, if the Plenty of Paper track that I have is out, I also do it in that. So that's a pretty cool track where I do it at the intro, I do it at the outro, but the outro is like the full form version. It's kind of like this. So this was done before that version.
Don't get that wrong. It's cold.
And that actually worked out. This part builds in slightly into this like pre-chorus, whatever, second chorus, this bridge part, whatever you want to call it inside here. There's like a little hint, a little taste of what's coming in the track, right? Is how I like to see it, foreshadowing in a way, but very smooth where you might not even notice it. And then you have the fully evolved form. So that kind of right here leads into the outro, the intro, kind of like the reverse reverbs do later.
That wrong. It's cold. Just touchdown.
And then here you have the
wow.
That's very reminiscent of For the Weekend intro, right? If you listen to the For the Weekend intro, I do the same sort of sound. I feel like that sound is kind of inspired by Isaiah Rashad. If y'all haven't checked him out, go check him out. That's a lot larger artist with TDE. I really enjoy his music. He kind of got me writing more flowy tracks than I did before. And actually, I mentioned that, there's in Damn to Fall, my original mixtape, Exit 166, the first mixtape, Damn to Fall, I say IDGAF got me out a hole. IDGAF got me out a hole. And IDGAF was one of the first tracks I wrote that was very vibe inspired. And it's never been released. It's not going to be released. But that track got me out of a hole of how I was writing and got me into the flow state that led into Exit 166 to all these projects into this. And that track, I had The House is Burning by Isaiah Rashad in heavy rotation. That's when that album came out. And so I was listening to him a lot, and that kind of got me into the flowy, or maybe tap in and experiment more with it. And so this vocal kind of matches in that. Wow. I mentioned the wow again from earlier. It sounds good. It's kind of hidden in there, but it fills the space and it bridges the gap between the choppy bridge, whatever. And also, if you notice the amount of threes within this track, right? Like the where were we talking about it?
Oh no, we are Miami.
Right, like the build up, and with that, we are Miami. The three that build into that, the three right here.
Wow.
And then the three of these that kind of go in. Yeah. Just touch. Right. Yeah. And that I could have taken all that stuff out, that little extra vocal stuff. Usually I would, but whenever I went back and started working on it again, it was in that spot, and I was like, I'm not gonna take out the little. Usually you can go and take out all the breaths. You can take out the extra vocals, the lip smacking like I just did, and like it was in the track. But I decided to keep it in just to give that more real feel to it. Not this super cleaned up. It is super cleaned up, but I left in certain breaths, certain spaces, certain textures that I could have taken out. I take out in a lot of my tracks, but I left it in just to give this more warm feel, natural feel. You'll hear it with the Palm Tree City, right? Whenever you listen to that, you'll hear like my breaths going into the Palm Tree City part, and I left that in intentionally. That was very intentional. Same with this part, same with a lot of other parts, just to add a more natural feel to it. Like Miami, you're out, and on the beach, or you're out, and sort of like the Everglades feel of Florida, right? The wilderness, the wild, kind of like the cover. And the cover of the track, another funny thing, I shot on a golf course in Fort Lauderdale, thinking it was at that point I didn't think it was in Miami. I knew we were in Fort Lauderdale and we were staying there, but I was under the impression that we were flying into Fort Lauderdale and going to Miami, but that was wrong. And so that feel of the cover really fits the feel of the track. If you notice that, I tried to do that with all my music, make it really interwoven. My vocals really match the beat. The cover really matches the vocals on top of the beat in the song. The merch really matches all of that. I try to make it a whole cohesive project whenever I make something. So yeah, that's all that. Let's listen to these by themselves, and then we'll get moving. This might be a pretty long series. I'm 20 minutes in right now, and we haven't gotten past the intro. But the intro is one of the heavier parts as well, because I'm also talking about all the backstory. So here's that part. Let's hear it.
Higher, fly, city lights. I'm a righteous, I'm a good.
Very choppy as well. And this was something that I also listened to and questioned if I was going to change it.
Lights on, I'm a righteous, I'm a good.
And I listened to it all, but I decided in the end just keep it how I originally made it. There's something special about the first, like whenever you're making the track, the vibe that you made it in, and not replacing things. And so I kind of just kept it how I mixed it originally, even though it sounds kind of chopped off.
Higher, fly, city lights. I'm a righteous, I'm a good.
Just to add more texture, a little chop in there. And yeah, it kind of gets filled in with that right there, right?
Yeah. Higher, fly, city lights. I'm a righteous, I'm a good. Just touched down in Miami.
Right. So it's intentional to leave that there. Could have cleaned it up. Could have dragged that out some. Could have taken out some of the breaths. Could have chopped out the end where I breathe in before I go in. It's cool. I left it how it was. Left it natural and how I made it. There's actually the interlude part. We out here traveling all around the world. That part I tried to change whenever I got back and I started working on the track a few weeks ago. I tried to change it, and I disliked the sound so much. Like the next day, I went and listened to it the next day. I was like, dude, I got to keep the original and just add a couple things and just keep the original how it was. Because there's something special in that. Try to take it to this next level, and it really takes away the energy of the track itself and how you made it whenever you did one take of it, right? You did a freestyle, or at least not, however you want to call it. You did one take, and then you try to do 10 takes to get the right sound, and it turns out it's the wrong sound. So in your artwork, sometimes leave things how they are, right? Whatever medium it is, don't try to repair it all the time so much and try to get it perfect, because it's perfect in its original form and the energy you made it in, oftentimes. But that's not a rule. Sometimes you can switch it. Sometimes I replace things. Sometimes I don't. But yeah, so that's the intro. We got it. We know where we're at. We're going to the chorus. Decide to keep the chorus super simple. The rhymes in this chorus are crazy, especially the end, the way it goes and the way it just flows together. Really clean, really enjoy it. And I didn't add a bunch of ad-libs and stuff in there. That's what I'm talking about, the maturity of the track and precision of it. It's not adding all these ad-libs and all these layers that I could add. obviously I can add layers. I have tracks that are, 160 stacks of layers throughout the entire track, not just one vocal. I should try that though, but that you can hear, and like now I'm thinking about putting 160 tracks on one vocal. But I try to be very restrained and very intentional on where I put the layers, because I could have done more. I could have done ad-libs. I could have done this, but decided not to. So here's the chorus. Here's the layers for the chorus, right? Three stacks in it. That's it. A 4-stack, a 6-stack, and a 4-stack. Super simple. And I'll solo it so you hear the bounce.
Yeah, just touched down in Miami. Landed, ain't playing in the damn thing.
Right. There's the delay just to fill in that outside space, the exterior space. And like I said, I could have taken out these breaths. I could have
Back then
taken
they
out
didn't understand me. Still don't.
but I decided to just leave it natural. This was a first take or something like that. It was the first time I recorded it right whenever I got back from the trip, so I just left it how it was. And I've realized that before too. I like Zydeco. I laid that as like a demo verse, right? A demo chorus as what it was, and we ended up keeping it because it was the most natural. I was in the moment whenever I made it. I tried to redo it 20 times. It would never sound as good as the original. So, all right, let's get to it.
Yeah, just touched down in Miami. Landed, ain't playing in the damn thing. Back then they didn't understand me. Still don't understand me. I ain't in this for trophies, no Oscar, no Emmy or Tony or Grammy. Did this here off my family. 225, that's my family. I just landed, ain't asked away. Real long way from the past today. Last little trip left the aftertaste. Exaggerated, actually. Ain't one for the masquerade. Turn back round, hit it back to stay. Flew out here feeling castaway. Spent half the day infatuated. Yeah.
Awesome. So, very simple. 3 stacks in there. That's it. 3 stacks of vocals. You can see I tested around with the with the reverse reverb in there again, but I decided just to keep it simple. So yeah, very simple. Let me toss these back on actually. And
yeah, just touched down in Miami. Landed, ain't playing in the damn thing. Back then.
And I use the layers on the emphasis here. That's something that I've been working on as well. Is like emphasizing where your layers are at and not just making it layer. Like it's very intentional where I put these layers. Like it's the feel parts of the track. 4 beat on the
yeah, just touched down in Miami. Landed, ain't playing in the damn thing. Back then they didn't understand me. Still don't understand me. I ain't just touched down in Miami. Landed, ain't playing in the damn thing. Back then they didn't understand me. Still don't understand me. I ain't in this for.
Those are just raspy vocals. Another thing is if you stack vocals, a lot of times it will sound good. So I'm not the most vocally inclined. I'm learning all this stuff new. Testing in the singing, testing in the layering, testing in the vocal raspiness and all that. So altogether, they sound good, and that's what I'm going for. Individually, they might not.
Still don't understand me.
That's a cool set.
Still don't understand me. Still don't understand me.
And those just have, for anybody interested, the same 4 and 5 reverb and delay that we had on the wow, that part.
Still don't understand me.
I don't think I want to solo these by himself.
Still don't understand me. Still don't understand me. Still don't understand me. Still don't understand me.
So I added those little deeper ones in there too. I like doing that.
Still don't understand me.
Just for where the frequencies pop up in there.
Still don't understand me.
Yeah. All right. Cool. And then with the vocal itself.
Still don't understand me.
So they're very clean.
Understand me. Still don't understand me. I ain't in this.
I ain't in this for trophies. No Oscar, no Emmy, no Tony, no Grammy. Did this here off my family. 225, that's my family. All rhymes with Miami. That's something I like doing too. Same thing with Chicago, the Chicago track. Chicago, Gazpacho, Hot Flows, Poblano. All the rhymes I used up in that rhyme with Chicago. And this Miami does until the second rhymes come in.
I ain't in this for trophies, no Oscar, no Emmy or Tony or Grammy. Did this here off my family. 225, that's my family.
So 225, that's my family. Baton Rouge, 225. Yeah, I also have a de-esser on my main vocal.
I just learned it ain't asked the way.
Barely anything, but it picks up some.
I just learned it. It ain't asked the way. Very long way from the past today. Last little trip left the aftertaste.
Yeah, just a little de-esser. Ain't nothing serious. So yeah.
I ain't in this for trophies, no Washington, no Emmy or Tony or Grammy. Did this here off my family. 225, that's my family. I just learned it ain't asked the way. Very long way from the.
That's kind of the bridge into the next set of rhymes, and after the 225 is my family, the break of the last rhymes, then I stack up the layers. That should be pretty straightforward.
I just learned it ain't asked the way. Real long way.
I like that little real long way. I kept that in attention as well. I like that real long way. Just you can barely hear it in your right or left ear.
I asked my family. I just learned it ain't asked the way. Very long way from the.
Barely. But just a little extra frequency in there as well. So yeah. So, I don't think I want to solo all these. Let's see. Solo. Yeah, we're not getting all that. But together they sound great. That's all I'm worried about.
I just learned it ain't asked the way.
I remember T-Pain talking about that stuff too. He's like, man, just stack up the layers. It sounds good. You can fix it. You know what I mean? You can add in heavier vocal and it'll take out some of the other frequencies and level them out, whatever. Yeah, so these layers are close together. And then I kind of just let the rhymes drag out the verse or the chorus.
I just learned it ain't asked the way. Very long way from the past today. Last little trip left the aftertaste. Exaggerated, actually.
I love that layer. Exaggerated, actually.
Exaggerated, actually.
That's a good balance of low pitch and high pitch. Raspy, not raspy. Just talking, mumbling kind of. And the feel on the exaggerated, actually. Like that's what it's supposed to feel like, right? I'm trying to convey feelings and vibes for the words themselves.
Exaggerated, actually.
Compared to.
I just learned it ain't asked the way. Exaggerated.
It's kind of like you're like stumbling, like going and sitting down. Like it's a different feel whenever I crafted that set of layers. All the other ones kind of elevate, and then this one kind of right. Just a different texture in there.
I just learned it ain't asked the way. Very long way from the past today. Last little trip left the aftertaste. Exaggerated, actually.
It kind of mimics the whole feeling that I'm talking about with the still don't understand me and I'll be alright, I'll be good. It kind of feels like that is what I'm saying.
Aftertaste, exaggerated, actually. Ain't one for all the masquerade. Turn back around, hit it back to stay. Flew out here from the castaway. Spent half the day infatuated. Yeah.
That's the transition to the verse, reminiscent of Chicago freestyle, right? And also for the weekend have some of that style in there, but I like that. What I try to do is transition, right? So I'm looking for transitions into and out of things, kind of the same way that I'll edit film. I'll edit my videos or whatnot. You have transition in, you have a transition out, and vocals are the same way. That's something I'll talk about at some point. It's definitely been talked about before, but the connection between all the artistic styles kind of have the same sort of things. Layering, like in painting, right? Different colors, different textures you can do layering as well. In paint, like you can have multiple different textures on it. Same thing with photography. Same thing with like photography, the layers of your foreground and your background and your subject, like the way you layered things. Like this is the subject, and I have foreground and background surrounding you, right? So it's all the mediums, all the crafts are interlaced. But I see this a lot of video editing, right? Just the transition in and out of things. And sometimes you want a tight transition, a hard one, right? That just kind of breaks it. There's no right way to do it. It's just what the vibe feels like. And with this track, the yeah gives you space before it hops into that verse, which is sick. So, okay, the reverb I didn't manually automate. There we go. Aux 4. Let's see. That is Delay Designer. And I could toss that all up. It's not worth it. That's the delay.
Infatuated.
Yeah, the delay is loud.
Infatuated.
And also the reverb about
Yeah.
just to make it more intense and say feel a little more. So I automated those in there, and that just gives you space. This track is very good as well on the space within the track, right? The space of breaks, the pauses. It's not just go, 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 which makes it more of a ridey vibe. You can fly to it, you can drive to it, you can listen to it, you can hang out. It's not just punches all the time. I'm letting it breathe.